Gwen Stacy. By now, we probably all love this character. Some of us, dare I say, might even be down bad for her. But as we know, every fandom has its infighting, and Gwen's fandom is no different. There are quite a number of people on Twitter right now that are desperately trying to make her something she isn't. Seriously guys, I haven't seen this much reaching since Mr. Fantastic.
She call me Mr. Bombastic, tell me fantastic.
No, not him. The other guy. Yeah, that's the one. I'm just gonna say it. Gwen Stacy is not trans. Whoa, relax, crybabies. Let me explain. Hi, I'm Beyonder, and in this video, I'll be debunking the theory once and for all. Let's start with the most prevalent point of contention in this theory. In Across the Spider-Verse, if you pay attention, you can see a Protect Trans Children banner hanging in Gwen's room. And if you look closely at her dad's jacket, you see a small pride flag pin on it. Now, the people on Twitter say this alone is reason enough to conclude that Gwen is trans. I beg to differ, though. It's more likely that Gwen is just an ally to the trans community, since there's no real statement made by her or her dad that she's trans. She never brings up feeling like she has any issues living in her body, or feeling like she was born different, or anything else alluding to being trans. Gwen is just an ally to the cause, and it's more likely than not that her dad has the pin on his jacket just to support the things Gwen is a part of. You know, because he wants to be a good dad. Also, people are saying that her entire conflict with her dad is an allegory to coming out as trans. All I can say to that is, way to project, people.
Good job.
It's literally just her going through the same secret identity crisis that every Spider-Man and Spider-Woman has gone through. Peter went through it multiple times in the comics and movies. Is he also trans or gay? Or is it possible that he's just Spider-Man having to deal with the problems of living a double life just like Gwen is? Now for the weakest and final reason they have for Gwen being trans. I know, short list, but this theory has about as much depth to it as the puddle you make when you spit. These people believe because Gwen's costume has similar colors to the ones on the trans flag, that means she is in fact trans, like 100% guaranteed.
The Rock guarantees.
This is probably the dumbest, most shallow, and weak evidence for their theory they could have possibly presented. It's so dumb that people mean the f out of it.
Used to say I keep a check. She was all bad, nevertheless. Calling it quits now, baby, I'm a wreck. Crash at my place, baby, you're a wreck. Needs to say I keep a check.
But hey, I'm here to debunk this whole thing, so I'm gonna do my job now. Let's take a look at Gwen's costume and how it came to be. This is straight from the creators too, so there can be no misunderstanding or arguing about it. Strap in. Gwen is branded a criminal, so a full mask. That way, any reader could see themselves under it, and any character on the street has no idea who or what is under the hood. Mystery, in the way that Spider-Man was in the first Ditko issues. So, with that in mind, we had a lot of conversations about the costume being stark, popping in a way that might reflect someone hitting it with a bright light in a dark alley. Ultimately, Robbie, with consultation from Rico, landed on flat white. Fun to draw. I cannot stress to you how important it was to Robbie that we stay away from webs. He hated them, and though it kinda killed me, it was easy to see that he was right. He was the artist, and his strengths mattered most. That meant shape and negative space. Taking a cue from an old design I did for an unpublished character named the Steel City Hawk, we blacked out her legs to simplify. Important on a comics page where the composition of images is unpredictable and often in competition. Yada yada yada. Skipping to the part where they talk about her chosen colors again. Robbie has said the intent was to homage the Charlotte Hornets colors, as a nod to my hometown. I believe Rico pushed the idea purples are typically tied to villains in classic comics, perfect for a wanted menace. So there you have it. Gwen's costume design is a result of the artist wanting it to be easy and fun to draw, and to make her look more like a menace. Her costume's colors were never meant to represent the trans flag. Her colors were chosen as a homage to the Charlotte Hornets, a basketball team based in North Carolina. There is one last thing I want to touch on when it comes to her colors. There are moments in the movie where we see Gwen having moments of sadness or distress. For example, there's a scene where she gets into a heated argument with her dad, and you can see the colors start as pinks, blues, purples, and black. Once again, the trans community wants to point at this and say this means she's trans. But in reality, these are just her costume's colors, and are meant to represent her side as Spider-Woman and how things are falling apart because of it, including the colors themselves. It all starts to darken, and the scene shifts from bright neon colors to a more dark and cold color palette. So, in conclusion, with all the evidence I provided here, Gwen is not and has never been trans from her first debut all the way up until now. If you somehow watched all of this and still think she's trans, then you, my friend, are delusional. But I'm sure those of you who thought she was trans are reasonable people and definitely agree now. Oh, who am I kidding? You guys are the kings and queens of delusion. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're a true believer, hit that bell notification too. Beyonder signing off. See you all in the next one.